Hey, it's Pastor Mike. When you listen to this week's Grace Talk series, I want you to realize this important fact. I'm giving you a spoiler, but I promise you're still going to want to listen to everything. You ready for it? Here it is. Jesus didn't pick perfect people. We see this throughout the Bible. Mary was a nobody, Matthew was greedy, James was angry, Martha was stressed, and Peter was prideful, and a whole lot of other things. But Jesus chose them, and then he changed them. And he's doing the same thing for us today. I invite you to check out my new sermon series on how Jesus calls us even though we are so flawed and far from perfect. That series is called Me on Team Jesus. Just hop over to timeofgrace.org/TV or check it out on our app or listen to it on our Time of Grace podcast.
So this week we're talking about the Apostle Peter, one of Jesus' 12 main disciples that he called to follow him. And we are following right along on his roller coaster journey, up and down, twists and turns, high and low moments of faith. Sometimes that was because Peter was quick to speak, but other times it's because Peter was quick to act. So one that comes to mind was early on, he's following Jesus. Great day, Jesus fed 5,000 people. And later on, the disciples are in a boat. And they see Jesus walking on water coming over, and they are terrified. They think this is a ghost. Obviously, you don't see people walking on water normally. But Jesus identifies himself. So Peter jumps in first. Lord, can I come down and walk on the water too? And Jesus responds, maybe a little like The Price is Right, come on down. Peter, quick to action, steps out of the boat and steps on the water and is actually walking on the water like Jesus, until he sees the wind picking up, which of course would make the waves pick up, and takes his focus off of Jesus and what he said, and he starts to sink. And that's when Jesus says to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" So think about this day, quite the roller coaster. High moment, awesome moment. You're watching Jesus feed over 5,000 people with a few loaves of bread and fish. Awesome. Then you're in a boat. You think Jesus is a ghost and you are terrified, right? Low moment. Then you say, I want to walk on water too, and you actually do. Awesome moment, confidence, and maybe within a few seconds, nosedive on the roller coaster, doubting Jesus, sinking in the water. I get this. This is what my life and my faith journey is like. Up and down you go, high moments, good moments, bad moments. And unfortunately, this was by no means the worst part or the lowest moment for Peter's life. Soon enough, it was time for Jesus to make that final journey to Jerusalem. And he was telling his disciples more and more what was going to come, that he was going to suffer and die. And so Peter and the others were struggling as they watched Jesus ride into Jerusalem on a donkey on this day that we call Palm Sunday. They struggled to make something of this. And then all week, as Jesus was giving some really specific and tough teachings, they were struggling to understand what this all means. And then in the upper room on the day we call Maundy Thursday at the Last Supper, Jesus is washing their feet, and Peter doesn't get it. Oh, Lord, no, you shouldn't wash my feet. And Jesus says, no, you don't get it. You see, I didn't come to be served, but to serve and to give my life as a ransom for many, to die for people. And again, Peter blurts out, speaks without thinking, no, Lord, I will lay down my life for you. In other words, I'm going to protect you no matter what. Peter, don't you get what's going on here? And secondly, Jesus says, I tell you the truth, Peter, actually tonight, early this morning, before the rooster crows on Friday, you're going to deny me, disown me 3 times. So from that upper room, they progress out with Jesus to the Mount of Olives, to the Garden of Gethsemane. And Peter, so eager to lay down his life for Jesus, can't even stay awake. He falls asleep 3 times, failing to watch and to pray with Jesus. That is until the guards and the officials come to arrest him. And Peter's awake now, and he's seeing what's going on, and quick to act, he draws out his sword and he slices off the ear of this guy named Malchus, one of the servants of the high priest. Again, Jesus says, what are you thinking? Don't you get what's going on here? He heals the ear of Malchus. Put your sword away, Peter. Well, as Jesus is led away, Peter still wants to do something. He wants to be a part of this. He wants to see what's going on. So he follows to the courtyard of the high priest. And this Peter, so eager to defend Jesus and lay down his life, comes face to face with a young girl, maybe in the young teens or something like that. And apparently the moment was so high-pressured, so filled with anxiety, so filled with fear that maybe he would get arrested too, that he denies knowing Jesus, not once, not twice, 3 times. And in English, as he called down curses on himself, it would be almost like he was saying that God should condemn him, God should damn him. No, I don't know that man. And then within a few moments, he crosses eyesight with Jesus. And that's when he realizes what he did. And he just breaks down and sobs, and weeping, he runs out, knowing that, again, quick to speak, quick to act, also quick to deny. Maybe we can understand why a few days later on Easter morning, when the women came back and said the tomb was empty, we can understand why John and Peter were the first ones to jump up and run all the way to the tomb. What's going on here? Where's Jesus? I get this, and maybe you do too. This is my life of faith. I am so often quick to put my foot in my mouth, so often quick to act without thinking and making poor choices, and yet, what an incredible thing that Jesus lived and died and rose again for Peter, for you, and for me. That no matter what we've done, no matter how high or low, how strong or weak our faith, we have a Savior in Jesus, just like Peter, and that is the best news we could ever know.